Testing, 3, 2, 1.
Back on top, punching the clock, clutching Santa.
Welcome back to a new YouTube video. Today is Monday, September 26th, and we are back with a tech video. If you guys watched my last YouTube video, you know I wanted to implement the new iOS 16 into a video and talk about all the features that it has, what I like, what I hate. So that's what this video is about, so let's get right into it. I'm not gonna waste no time. So if you guys aren't aware, Apple released the iOS 16 with the unveil of the iPhone 14 that dropped about 2 weeks ago. And the iOS 16 software has a bunch of new dope shit that applies to us Apple users. If you're an Android user, you use Android or you Google or whatever, drop a like, but don't watch this. Not kidding with you. I don't have no shade against Android phones. It's just not me. I've had every iPhone from the first generation iPhone all the way up to the 12 Pro Max, which is what I have now. And out of all the releases, I've never even thought about changing to an Android phone at all. Like I even used to jailbreak my phone to get some of the Android widgets and stuff on the phone, but I still like having the iPhone. I love the iOS software. It's just my favorite. So Android users, I'm sorry, it's not for you. But the iOS 16 came out about 2 weeks ago. I downloaded the beta about 2 months ago, so I've had time to work with the iOS 16 beta for a little bit, and I love it. Honestly, there's very few things I dislike about the iOS 16. But again, let's talk about it. So the first thing that I love, the iOS 16 implemented probably one of the dopest features that I've seen iPhones have in such a long time, and it's the customizable lock screen. With the new iOS 16 update, you now have the option to create a few different options of what lock screen you want. So if you wanted to have a lock screen for every day of the week, you have the option to create your own lock screen for Monday, Tuesday, all the way through Sunday. 2, you have the option to apply certain widgets. So if you wanted to show all the battery life for all your Apple devices, like your Apple Watch and your AirPods and whatever, you have the option to add those devices, those widgets, on the lock screen, so you know what the battery life is for your watch, you know what the battery life is for your AirPods, you know what the battery life is for your phone. You have the option to add weather widgets, so you can tell what the weather is when you wake up in the morning. You get up nice and early, you get to see what the weather's like for the day, and that's what I think is probably one of the dopest features that the iOS 16 lock screen has, is the option to add your own widgets, because we all love to customize our own lock screens and our own devices to our own liking, you feel me? One of the second additions they have to the iOS 16 lock screen edition is the depth effect. The depth effect allows you to take a dope picture where you have a nice strong foreground and a nice blurry background, and you can actually apply the depth effect to the photo to rest the time and date of whatever you have on your phone, wherever you're at, in the background of the foreground of the photo. So what that looks like is, if you take this photo here, like I have a picture of myself looking mighty handsome, if you feel me, you can apply the depth effect to have the date and the time rest behind my head. And that is a depth effect. That is a new update, as a new addition to the iOS 16, which is really cool. And watching all the iPhone 14 unboxing videos and all the iOS 16 additional videos that I watched, I got to indulge myself in all the technical updates that the iPhone has, and it made me appreciate how far the iPhone has actually come, because before, we really just only had the option to add a lock screen, and that's it. You know, you could change your lock screen, but that's really all we had. So the new depth effect, adding the widgets to the lock screen, is super duper dope. So let's get into the inside of the phone. As I stated before, the additional widgets that you can add to the lock screen, there's even more widget freedom we have on the inside of our phone. So now iOS 16 gives us the option to add additional widgets to our home screen, and that's probably one of my favorite things about the iOS 16 update. It's the freedom to add whatever I want on my lock screen. If you guys can see here, I have all my apps prioritized to how often I use them, and I use my phone a lot. Obviously, I'm answering emails, sending text messages, on social media, I'm editing from time to time within the InShot app, so I have all my photography stuff here, and my mobile banking app. I have all my banking apps in one folder. So the iOS 16 gave us the option to add and prioritize all of our apps to one screen. If you wanted to have one folder and one app on one screen, you have the freedom to do so. But the widget additions, I also downloaded this app called Top Widgets, and what it allows you to do is add certain things to your home screens, to your landing pages, to the lock screen. I have the calendar here because I'm always looking at my phone, unfortunately, so just in case for whatever reason I forget the date, I have the calendar here. I also have my to-do list. As you guys know, I like to keep track of what I do day in and day out, and if I don't prioritize the things that I have to do day in and day out, then I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off, you feel me? So I have my to-do list here, and that's one thing I like about the iOS 16. It's the freedom to add just about whatever you want to your home screen, to your landing page, wherever you want to call the iOS 16. If we go into the settings tab on the iPhone, there's a few things that I actually like with the iOS 16 update and additions. One of the first things is the battery percentage. We now have access to see our battery life to the T, to the number with the percentage, within our settings. So if you go to the settings tab, obviously go under battery. The very first option is battery percentage. You turn that on, which I believe that's only for certain iPhones. I have the 12 Pro Max and I have access to it, but I believe it's only up to like the 11 Pro or something like, or 11 Max, whatever the fuck the 11 is. That's super useful because if you're sitting in the car, you're driving in the car with all the homeboys and everybody's phone's dead, by law, whoever has the lowest percentage gets on the charger. So my phone has currently 14%. I'd probably have the charger in my car. Another setting that I actually use, and I'm actually proud that iOS 16 added, is the keyboard haptics. So if you go into the sounds setting on the settings option, you can turn keyboard haptics on, and what it does, it gives you keyboard feedback. So when you're typing, you get feedback letting you know that you're actually typing. I don't know how many times I've texted while I drive, which you shouldn't do, but I've typed out a whole paragraph, which I thought, because I'm not looking at the keyboard, and then I typed out a bunch of things that weren't things, or I didn't type anything out, you know, because my screen froze. So the keyboard haptic, the keyboard feedback is really amazing because it allows us, again, to know we are typing and to know when we're typing. So as we exit the settings app and head right into the photography app, this iOS 16 gave us some of the biggest photo editing adjustments if you did not upgrade the phone. Again, I repeat, if you did not upgrade the phone, you still have these setting adjustments. So if you still take photos on your phone, if you still edit your photos within the iOS built-in editing adjustments that we have on our phones, the update gave you the option now to copy and paste edit settings across a bunch of different photos. Let's say you want to get a fit pick off. You took a bunch of dope fit pictures in the same location, just a bunch of different angles. You now have the option to edit one photo within the iOS editing software, copy and paste those edit settings across all those photos. It just makes editing so much faster for our mobile users. iOS 16 really dedicated a lot of adjustments and a lot of updates to the mobile users, which I can appreciate. I don't take photos on my phone anymore. That'll probably be the only reason why I update, is just to use the new camera, the 48 megapixels, the new macro settings, the new action settings within the video taking process of having iOS 16 and the iPhone 14. But now you can copy and paste edit settings and slap those right on a bunch of photos, so just speeds up the process a little bit. Moving on to the one thing that I hate about iOS 16. And when I tell you guys I don't like this, I genuinely do not like this about iOS 16. It's the notification adjustment. Now iOS 16 changes the notification placement from being in the middle of your phone to the bottom. Now why is that important and why don't I like it? It's important, one, because we didn't ask for it. But I don't like it because if you have small hands like me and you like the bigger phones, then you grip your phone from the bottom and you accidentally swipe down, or you accidentally go to unlock it and you swipe down, all the notifications go away. So now I have to grab my phone from the middle, unlock my phone, swipe up just to see all notifications. That's not important. That's me complaining, if I'm being honest with you. But if you want to change that, I'll give you a way to change that. If you go in your settings and go to the notifications portion, you have an option to choose between the three. The first, which is the old school way of just the list, so when they come up, they're all listed from when they first came in to when they last came in. The second is the stacked notification settings, so you can have them all stacked up as one big blob, and you can just boom, swipe through and see them all. Or it's a new way, have them at the bottom of your phone, all you big-handed motherfuckers. If you have big hands and you deal with it, so be it. If you're asking me, I think they gave us that option because they want us to be able to see our lock screen. They want to give us the option to look at our lock screen and just be like, damn, I did my thing on this lock screen. But that's iOS 16. I may not upgrade to the iPhone 14. I just don't feel the reason to, because I don't really use the phone for its mobile update capacities. If I wanted to, it might just be because my girlfriend wants the bigger phone because she does watch Netflix and Hulu and all that other shit on her phone. So I may give her my phone so she has a bigger screen, and then I'll just upgrade to the iPhone Pro, the iPhone 14 Pro. But outside of that, I don't really see the need to upgrade the phone. Like, again, I really like the iPhone 12 Pro Max. It does everything I need to do. It's big. It's just like the iPhone 14. One thing I did read, which I don't know if you guys are gonna read this about. I'm a kind of like a low-key nerd, so like I read into the differences between the 12 Pro Max, the 13 Pro, and then the 14 Pro Max. All the phones are generally the same as far as structural and its use. The only difference between the 12 and the 13 is, again, some of the photography editions, and that's what's different from the 13 to the 14. It's just really camera settings. If you're really big into camera settings or into mobile creation or mobile taking, mobile photo taking, video taking, then the 14's for you. If you're not, I would recommend you stay with the phone you have and just use the new iOS software that came out. That's it. That's all I have for you guys for the iOS 16. If you guys enjoyed this type of tech content, go ahead, drop a like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I do have another tech video coming out within the next few weeks because I am adding some additions to my home setup. Just some new things that I want to show you guys, which I'll probably put, I don't know if I'll put that in the vlog. Maybe I'll put that in the vlog for you guys instead of doing like a tech video number 2. I don't know. If this does well, then shit, y'all getting a motherfucking tech video. But as always, I appreciate you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys for dropping that like, because I know if you watched this already and you're watching it this far, you'd already liked the video, you already left a little comment for it, you already shared the video to a homeboy or homegirl, and you already subscribed to the channel. But outside of that, you guys have a great day, and I will catch up with y'all next time.
Back on top, punching the clock, clutching Santa.